in my district, Mr. Norris, our folks would not buy what you're selling, okay? Um, and very concerned about safety and security of the nation. In fact, I don't know how, from an intelligence standpoint, but we have intelligence. In fact, the FBI director testified before Congress and said we're under the greatest threat of terrorism in our country ever since the Biden administration took over, largely responsible for the folks that they've caught, known terrorists they've caught and not allowed in. But then, I don't know, Mr. Blair, how many gotaways do we have? We don't know who they are?
Millions.
Millions. So, God knows, I hope you're right. I hope it doesn't happen. I'm not asking you a question. I'm still making a statement here. Yeah. At the beginning of this year, I joined Speaker Johnson. We went to the border, and I've never seen an operation. Asylums, I think, asylum's an important program, but it's being abused, horribly abused. And like the week before, the cartels had made, somebody said, $32 million off a law that is terribly imperfect. Because, right now, we're processing like almost 7 million people down there. Do you realize the resources it takes to do that? Only 10% of those folks show up for the court date. And less than 2% of those folks actually get asylum. There's got to be a better way to do this. Like maybe go to your embassy in your home country, our embassy in your home country, and say, hey, I want to plead asylum. We'll get you a court date. We'll get you up here, and we'll see what's going on. But the bottom line is we got a major problem. We did our part. We passed H.R. 2. However, the Senate has failed to act on H.R. 2, which is our Border Security Act. And Councilwoman Vernokov, is that correct? Close. You noted in your testimony the strain this migrant crisis is having on our public health system. When migrants cross our border illegally, oftentimes they come without any vaccinations, can be carrying an illness or uninsured. The flood of undocumented migrants entering into hospitals is a financial. Our health care right now is the largest driver of our debt, by the way. You should know that. And they're participating in driving that debt. So, Councilwoman, can you speak to your observations in your community that the effects of a massive influx of uninsured, undocumented migrants can have on our healthcare system?
Just to bring up some examples, New York City Health and Hospitals, which is the public hospital system in New York City, provided medical services to 85,000 undocumented migrants since May of 23. Clinicians completed more than 30,000 visits to migrants. And if you take as an example, one of the hospitals, Bellevue Hospital, they saw 1/4 of those 30,000 visits of obviously unvetted and undocumented migrants. And actually 300 of those visits were delivery of babies, which is very expensive. And again, the migrants are not insured. And there's also a big potential, like I mentioned before, potential for a disease outbreak because a lot of them are not vaccinated.
Right, exactly. Ms. Blair, in your testimony, you outlined the complexities of how the Mexican cartels operate to smuggle drugs into the United States.
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned that the policies of parole or notice to appear have enticed cartels to continue smuggling drugs into our country.
Yes, sir.
What was different under previous administrations compared to what's happening now?
Prosecutorial discretion. That's what it is. So when someone comes up to the border itself, we are not asking credible fear questions. We are not asking the questions that need to be answered. We are not vetting them. We are letting them and releasing them into the United States based off of a few categories. One is nationality. 2 is familial status. 3 is if they have a criminal record within the United States. It has nothing to do with credible fear. It has nothing to do with whether they actually meet the parole guidelines. And so we're releasing them in that aspect.
Thank you all, and I'm out of time and I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.